think it's time to blow this scene. Get everybody in the stuff together. Okay, 3, 2, 1, let's jam.
My earliest memory of watching anime was when I was about 6 years old and I made my siblings take it in turns to read the subs for Akira. Since then, although I do like anime, I never really got into the scene or followed trends like Dragon Ball Z or Naruto. But one show that has cropped up numerous times to me in conversation as being the closest thing to perfection is Cowboy Bebop. I wasn't completely oblivious to the series and I had tried to watch an episode a while back, but for one reason or another it didn't grab me and I thought it was some silly outdated cop show. Cowboy Bebop, directed by Shinichiro Watanabe, was animated by Sunrise Studio. First aired in Japan on TV Tokyo in 1998, it was also the first anime title to be broadcast on Adult Swim in the US. Cowboy Bebop is often cited as one of the greatest anime of all time and received universal praise for its story, voice acting, which even the English dubs has often been praised among the anime community, music, characters and animation. Speaking of which, this is one of the last anime series that uses almost entirely hand-drawn animation with very little digital use. The year is 2071, a time where rocky planets and moons have now been colonised due to an accident with a hyperspace gateway roughly 60 years prior, making Earth practically uninhabitable. However, being able to live on most of the planets and moons in our solar system means that criminals are far more elusive from the law, and so the ISSP, Intersolar System Police, set up a contractual agreement with bounty hunters, also known as cowboys, to lend them a hand so long as they're registered, an agreement not too dissimilar to westerns, very much a theme here. We follow the ragtag crew of bounty hunters on the spaceship Bebop, who are just trying to make ends meet.
What happened to the $1,000,000 Wulong reward we got for that last guy?
The repair bill for that cruiser you wrecked, and the one from that shop you trashed, and the medical bill from the cop you injured.
Spike Spiegel's character is brought to life by Steve Blum and is the main protagonist of Cowboy Bebop. From the moment he was introduced, I felt he was pretty relatable to me for a few reasons. He's lazy.
You, get up!
Check. And he's slothful. Check. A heavy smoker.
Yeah, that's right.
Seriously, there's barely a scene in the first 14 episodes where he doesn't have a cigarette in his mouth. And he loves his food.
My stomach just took over my brain. It does that sometimes.
Check, check, and double check. Passing most of his time on the Bebop watching TV, eating, sleeping, or just lazing around. Spike is rarely excited by anything and is usually very indifferent towards most things.
You said bell peppers and beef. There's no beef in here. So you wouldn't really call it bell peppers and beef, now would you?
Though he has no problems voicing his dislikes. Tell me, Spike, what is it you really don't like?
Kids, animals, and women with attitudes.
Well, calm as a bitch. A skilled martial artist in Jeet Kune Do makes his work seem easy for him and almost enjoyable. However, as I watched further through the series, I realised there is much more to Spike than meets the eye. He's haunted by his past, which you see snippets, memories and nightmares, and you see more of those in episode 5, Ballad of Fallen Angels, which is so far probably my favourite. During this episode, Spike's character seems to transition into another person entirely, a more darker and grim personality, almost Jekyll and Hyde syndrome.
You should see yourself. You have any idea what you look like right at this moment, Spike?
And he's not afraid of death either, like he has nothing else to live for, almost like he's given up. Jet is a retired member of the ISSP and presents himself throughout the episodes as the more mature and wisest out of the crew. He is the crew's voice of reason.
No smoking in here.
the most rational, although he has a reputation for being rather stubborn. So much so that the stubbornness he shows when he chases after criminals, he is nicknamed the Black Dog.
Because once you got your teeth into something, you never let go of it.
Being the oldest crew member, he is seen as somewhat as a father figure that cooks, takes care of his bonsai tree, and loves blues.
I started wailing the blues when the doctor whacked my bottom on the day I was born.
He takes pride in his converted fishing spaceship, which is aptly named after a type of jazz, often concerned about any damage to the Bebop during a firefight. He has a strange relationship with Spike, being the closest thing to a brother, a father, and a best friend, which Spike seems to be more open with about his past than anyone else. Sometimes Jet will bicker with Spike like an old married couple.
That's right, it's dog eat dog.
Even banning him from boarding the Bebop, though that's usually short-lived and Spike is back on again. A tall, muscular man who can come across as a bit of a rude brute, he's really a thoughtful man who takes on the responsibility over the more vulnerable members of the Bebop. Introduced in episode 3, Honky Tonk Woman, Faye is a selfish, self-absorbed femme fatale obsessed with money.
I want my reward in nice crisp bills, you know what I'm saying?
And has a gambling problem.
Depositing it at the casino again?
It's a lot more fun than the bank.
Jet describes her as
Just walking trouble.
She is also a strong female character, much like Jill Valentine of Resident Evil or Isabella Ivy Valentine of Soul Calibur. You see a bit of a trend going on here with strong female characters. Although she can hold her own, she seems to get caught the majority of the time that she does decide to take matters in her own hands
I kinda got myself caught.
and has to be rescued. She doesn't join the Bebop crew until her second encounter with Spike and Jet, to which she almost forces herself onto the team despite stealing from them previously.
You stole from us and you lost it gambling in a casino.
Not really much has been said about her past, nor what her intentions are. She is an opportunist who uses her powers of seduction and sweet smiles to get what she wants.
I should be very popular.
Though it doesn't wash with her companions. Despite behaving provocatively for her own benefit,
Can you park my Zipcraft? It's out front. Thanks.
she does claim to actually dislike being desired and is very closed off in regards to her romantic feelings.
You know what they say, cowboy. Easy come, easy go.
Her relationship with Spike is pretty complex at best, but as the episodes progress, she does begin to let her heart and mask slip, showing a fraction of care towards her crew members. As she realises this, she decides it's best to flee the Bebop before she starts getting too emotionally involved to protect herself from getting hurt, and it's her natural defence mechanism that she knows all too well.
Nothing good ever happened to me when I trusted others.
Allow me to introduce you to, you know what, in fact you can take this one.
Full name Edward Wong Hao Pepalu Tivruski IV.
Thanks, Ed. Ed is an extremely eccentric, barefooted, androgynous hacker genius who had been following the Bebop for a while, and when the ship investigates a troublemaker hacker under the name of Radical Edward, she...
Hey, you're a girl!
Yes, Faye, she is extremely excited to join the crew. She's comic relief who, despite being absolutely bonkers and saying random things, doesn't become annoying. She's a free spirit and shows characteristics of an untamed animal, growling, biting people, and being always barefoot, though this could explain her almost instantaneous bond with Ein, the Welsh corgi. Composed by Yoko Kanno, the soundtrack to me is what makes each episode and the vital element that glues it all together, creating the atmosphere, setting, and sometimes extreme emotions. Yoko formed a blues and jazz band called the Seatbelts to perform the music using a variety of genres, including western, opera, and jazz. So far, from episodes 1 to 14, there's only a few songs that are my absolute favourites, and that is Rain, used in Ballad of Fallen Angels, Spaceline, which ends the episode Jupiter Jazz Part 2, and the Egg and I. Plus there's a few others as well that make my list, but those are probably my top 3. I will admit right now that I am becoming obsessed with this series. I'm invested in the characters who are brought to life by amazing direction and performances by the voice actors. I don't see this as a normal anime, but it feels almost real to me, and I'm investing in these characters as actual people. They all have a past, which I can't wait to find out more. I think there's something for everyone to enjoy, and if you've never seen Cowboy Bebop, I highly recommend watching Ballad of Fallen Angels first to see for yourself just how awesome anime can actually be.